Texans get some good news. Browns get some bad news. And there's a lot going on around here leading in to the playoffs on Saturday. Cal McNair and Hannah McNair join me on the radio show. We got all kinds of news. And we're also going to kill some ghosts from the past. Let's go inside the locker room. It's playoff time, baby.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time. Can't stop.
Playoff time, baby. A good day for the Texans too. I must say so myself. It is the locker room number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2, Sports Radio 610, and the Odyssey app. Be sure to subscribe, like, ride along. Big thanks to Sheldon Rankins for hopping by. If you weren't ready to run through a damn door, or you weren't already excited for the game, that dude was all about that business. We'll probably talk about that on the stream. We'll also revisit it on the show tomorrow. But man, he is a really, really, really sharp dude. And he is ready for the game. Appreciate you for coming through. We will hold on just a sec. Kyle's asking time out. Give me 20. The Bama rumors, DeMeco Ryans to Bama. Come on, man. Like, let's be serious. That's not a rumor. That's stupid. That's just straight stupidity. Zero chance DeMeco Ryans goes to Bama. So I'll get that out of the way. Don't even acknowledge that. That's absolutely asinine. I don't even know what what's going on with that. I wanted to start this though by just talking about something that a lot of people locally were given a lot of time to, and maybe it's because like I took the obligation real serious the last few years because we had to do it, and we had to do it the last few years. But I really wanted no part today of coaching search talk. 8 of 32 jobs in the NFL are open right now. And I heard some local folks talking about it. I don't care. Matter of fact, I avoid that crap like crazy. I've covered 3 coaching searches the last 3 years. And I've watched years of dog-butted football. And when the football wasn't dog-butted, there was a limited ceiling on it because you had a complete idiot in charge, a football idiot, King Bill. And you had the POS lurking around. And before that, you didn't have a quarterback. So I don't want any part of coaching search talk. Like if it's a nugget on the show when we talk about the NFL, if it's a hit, something like that, fine. If you can maybe localize it, if Bobby Slowick's name is coming up, okay. But as far as who is so-and-so going to hire, got a playoff game right down the street. Okay? There's a playoff game down the street. It's a winnable playoff game. We haven't had that recently. And I think there's maybe that there might be like maybe it's like just what are people like? What do they say? Help me out. I'm not the brightest guy. Although I look bright as hell right now. I look pastier than Bobby Slowick. People are creatures of habit. Maybe people just want to talk about coach. I don't give a damn about Nick Saban. I don't give a damn about Bill Belichick. When it comes to content, when it comes to people driving around in Houston or listening at their office or opening the podcast, if I'm talking about that crap, I'm doing you a disservice. Or if I'm harping on it too much. We got playoffs, baby. It's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to talk about it. We will get into the Bobby Slowick stuff. How I think the stanky one might be looking for revenge. Also, Cody Stuts going to join me probably 20 minutes in. So we'll talk to him. but yeah, I don't Derek Gonzalez says it's the Skip Bayless show. I don't know what the hell that means. I do know that you are Dunzo. Peace out, buddy. But yeah, coaching search talk. I'm good on that. I don't need any of that. Frank Z just said it. You're on the wrong show if you're looking for that type of crap. It's really nice to be past to pass that. Yeah, we can reflect on the season when it's over, but we still in this B. Yeah, and I hope that if the Texans win this game, there's not any more reflection questions until the end of the season. So yeah, we'll get into all that, but I want to talk ghosts for a minute. And a lot of the Texans stuff, be sure to subscribe, like, right along. It is the Locker Room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. We're 2 sleeps away from a playoff game, from kicking off the playoffs at NRG. Sellout, by the way. But even like with the self-inflicted wounds, like in the past, the Texans have had a lot of bad luck too. The best team you ever had basically had no shot because of the Matt Schaub injury. There's been all kinds of things where it just feels like things aren't going to go the Texans' way. Like I say all that to say this. I'm sure in the Indianapolis game when Kaimi Fairbairn missed the field goal, you thought that the Texans were going to end up losing the game. You thought that the Texans were going to end up losing. No, let's just be honest. Like you anticipated the worst, and I don't blame you, because it's just, sometimes it just be like that with the Texans. But there are 4 ghosts of the past heading into this game that could be like reminders of the Texans' wrongs of the past that have kind of been wiped away. And I want to get into those 4 ghosts as we talk about, perhaps things changing around here. You got the right people in charge. And maybe luck is kind of on the Texans' side right now. So here is the 4 ghosts of the past that are dead that have to do or can be connected to the Cleveland Browns and that game on Saturday. Number 1 is the obvious, Deshaun Watson. And this isn't a pile on Deshaun thing. Look, I think initially when Deshaun Watson, I made this clear. I think initially when Deshaun Watson wanted to be traded, it was a result of how terrible things were being run in this organization and how terrible they were ran, from King Bill to Jack Easterby, etc. I think Deshaun Watson wanted out, and I really didn't blame him for wanting out. Now, had Deshaun Watson changed since he signed the contract? I thought so. I said so in August of 2020. I thought he had changed. I thought it was a very clear change where we don't have to get too much into it, but it just became very materialistic. He was kind of talking down on 9-to-5ers. He was acting like he was Jeff Bezos when there's really nothing like revolutionary that he did to make him think that. It was weird. But I did not blame Deshaun Watson for wanting out. So the Texans had to trade him. And the other angle of this is, at the time, we were saying, many people were saying, you have a franchise quarterback and you're having to get rid of him. And that transitioned into the off-field stuff, which, look, I covered it as close as anyone. We don't know the full facts on that and what did or didn't go down. There's a few jokes. There's a creepy factor, but there's some middle ground there, regardless of how you feel. But that transitioned. It went from you can't trade a franchise quarterback to Nick Caserio, his number 1 priority. And I said this from the jump. And Nick Caserio waited out for a long time. But his number 1 priority and the most important thing that the Houston Texans needed to do during the Caserio era, as it got off to a start, was get max value for Deshaun Watson. Now, they were kind of handcuffed for that, but That was the second part of this. The third part of this was, okay, you're trading Deshaun Watson. Is he going to haunt you? Like, are you going to regret this? Is he going to make you look stupid? Like, at the very least, is this going to look like a wash of a trade and you're going to be in quarterback purgatory, which is something we know a lot about here? None of those things have happened. None of those things have happened. There's zero chance that Deshaun Watson sticks it to you. Pause, whatever, allegedly, I don't know. But there's zero chance that he comes and beats you on Saturday. Zero chance. You already got max value of that trade. No matter what happens with Kenyon Green, let's be honest. The Browns, if they could hop in a time machine, they wouldn't make that trade again. So that's gone. And you have a franchise quarterback now that you feel good about, that everyone around the world feels good about. So the ghost of Watson past, it's gone. It's talked about right now very, very, very rarely. There's a few drive-bys here and there. But it's talked about now because his team is rolling to town. But the ghost of Deshaun and ghost number one, it's gone. It's done. Like all four layers of that are done and gone. So that's ghost number one. Ghost number two is the Nick Chubb factor. And this was actually a necessary trade, and I actually give Rick Smith a lot of credit for it. But the Texans, before Deshaun Watson, they had Brock Osweiler. And Brock Osweiler was awful. He was terrible. It was bad. It was a disaster. It was a failure. It was so bad that they made an NBA-like trade with the Cleveland Browns where they traded Brock Osweiler and a second-round pick to the Cleveland Browns. That second-round pick ended up being Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb was selected with the Texans' original second-round pick. So that's not going to haunt you because Nick Chubb got hurt. One of the best backs in the league got hurt. So that's ghost number two. Ghost number three, and we don't know if he's going to be out today, but we'll get to this news a little bit later on. Denzel Ward. To trade up and get Deshaun Watson from the Browns, you traded a first-round pick in 2018. Now, that first-round pick ended up being top 5 because Watson tore his ACL and the season kind of crumbled. And the Browns ended up getting Denzel Ward, one of the best corners in the league. He got hurt today. Don't know if he's going to be out there or not. We'll get to that a little bit more, but that's ghost number 3. As we talk about just like all the possible, like coulda, woulda, shoulda, like every trace of the past just getting wiped away. And this is ghost number 4, and this is the one that's going to excite you the most. It is the locker room. Appreciate everyone for coming through, whether you're a Texans fan or not. Be sure to subscribe. This is the place to get the pulse of what's going on. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 Central, Sports Radio 610, the Odyssey app. But number 4 is the draft pick. And this is crazy because with the 3 first-round picks that you got for Deshaun Watson, you've already made 2 of those selections, 2 of those first-round selections. And you have one more, which is going to be used about 3.5 months from now at the 2024 NFL Draft. When you traded up for Will Anderson, you made a move that a lot of people made fun of. And on top of the draft compensation, one of the things that was most mocked was, man, the Texans have 2 first-round picks next year, and they traded their own pick and kept Cleveland's pick. What the hell are they doing? They might be trading a top 5 pick. Well, if the Texans win this game on Saturday, then the Browns pick that they kept is actually going to be earlier than their own pick. How about that? On top of winning a playoff game, you solidify, and it's not going to be much of a difference anyways, but you solidify that your draft pick that you kept, that everyone made fun of and said, why would you're supposed to be a dog-butted squad? Not everyone, but many. You're supposed to be a dog-butted football team. What are you doing trading that pick? Might end up being the right move. That's another ghost. So those are the 4 ghosts, and you just gotta start to wonder, man. Is luck on the Texans' side? Goodness gracious. The answer might be yes. Texans injury report came out today. We'll react with Cody Stuts. He was on the scene. He's going to come through in a sec, but the injury report was very encouraging. You had everyone practice except Jerry Hughes. Noah Brown, little bit of a surprise. I told y'all yesterday, Jonathan Grenard, who we'll hear from in a sec, Jonathan Grenard was going to go. It was just obvious yesterday that it was going to happen. We knew this day was coming. He's almost sounding like a guy who is full go. That there's no way that can be the case, but apparently he was practicing full speed. I mean, he was on Texans All Access. Jonathan Grenard is talking like a guy that's ready to play full go. Also, Noah Brown, you got him. Don't know if he's going to be out there or not, but he's at least attempting. Woods back out there, and everyone else was out there. Meanwhile, in Cleveland, as we're reacting to this good news on In the Loop Sports Radio 610, Denzel Ward, who we mentioned earlier, he got injured in practice. He's questionable for Saturday. That would be huge. You know, we talk about this Browns defense and how good they are, and they got some underrated corners behind him. So it's not like it's a bad secondary or anything, but he's one of the best in the game. He gets hurt. And that's right as the Texans are full strength at receiver, minus Tank Dell, obviously. That's a complete 180 from what we thought we would be looking at. And I hesitate to believe Denzel Ward's going to play. And if he is going to play, how long can he play? When the coach comes out and says he hurt his knee in practice, like, is Denzel Ward going to play? And I saw some stuff on Twitter. I keep up with Texans Twitter. I'm not really that deep in the sticks and all the effery and stuff like that. But I keep up very, very, very well. There's probably a lot of you guys. I see what fans are saying. I saw God, I want to give him credit. A.O. Noah, I've met him before. Good dude. I met him at the draft a few years ago. I saw him. He put like a picture of Nico Collins foaming at the mouth because Denzel Ward was out. And there were like some jock sniffers, whatever you want to call them, telling him, you know, karma is don't celebrate injuries. It's karma. Come on, man. Like he's just saying Nico Collins is going to feast. And let's be honest, he's not. It's not like a season-ending thing. Life is easier if Denzel Ward's not on the field. Let's just be serious. You think Browns fans were pumped up that Will Anderson and Jonathan Grenard practiced today? You think Browns fans said, "Hell yeah, we get them at full strength"? Come on. There's way too many gotcha guys out there trying to go around that. I don't know when jock sniffing. Maybe it's because social media, because there's like so much easy access, but the jock sniffing's gotten a little bit strange, to say the very least. Let's hear from Jonathan Grenard, and then we'll bring Cody Stuts in here, talk about all the other stuff going on with the Texans. But this was Jonathan Grenard in the locker room. He will be playing on Saturday, and you guys tell me if this seems like a guy that's ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. But I knew my boys would hold it down. I was definitely working hard to get back as fast as I could. But I'm excited to get back out on the field and be able to play ball with my boys again. So I'm excited to look forward to it.
You're part of it. You guys set a record, 46 sacks.
Yeah, huge, man. That's a testament to the guys we got in our room, man. We got guys on all walks of life. We got guys who are on long deals, short-term deals, guys who are drafted, undrafted, all of these things going into it. But to see everything come to fruition, what we've worked on all the way since OTAs, and even newer guys that come in and just understand what the common goal is, it's been very exciting to see. So that way, we're definitely encouraged to try to continue to stack that up and make that record go even higher.
Not only working on since OTAs, but you've been here a while. The fact that you guys get a home playoff game after everything you've been through, and now you get to be on the field.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's wild. I mean, if you'd have told me just off of my experiences coming up through rookie year and stuff that we'll be in this situation, man, I would have just looked at you and smiled and just said, I got to see it for myself. But now that we're here, man, it's exciting, man. We're blessed because this season could have went so many different ways and we could not be here. But God is amazing, man. And he works things out. He works in mysterious ways. So I just see that everything happened for a reason. We got this rematch again for a reason. We got all the people that's here for a reason. So I'm just excited to go out there and show the world, man, shock the world.
The game is sold out, and that's got to be exciting too.
Yeah, super. I mean, like I was just mentioned before that, every game I've been here where it's been majority of the away teams here. I've been here where we had our whole side filled up. But to hear that every single seat is going to be filled in there, whether it's ours or not, the environment in general is just going to be amazing. To have that, like I mentioned before, it's like a college football atmosphere, 3:30 kickoff, man. I'm excited about that. I think that gave me a little juices going. Everybody else, we have a lot of young guys on the team, so I know that'll give them a little bit of reminiscent feeling for these boys. So I'm excited to see what they do too.
John Derek, named AFC Defensive Player of the Month.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him, especially during this late stretch, the last month or so? What have you seen from him?
Man, Sting know how I feel about it. We got a good relationship, man. He's been a dog, man. I seen him even when he's been hurt, and I've been there at that point before. So just understanding how he was trying to get mentally, I just told him to stay with it. I mean, and he's done that. And as we see, I've been knowing he can make those plays, and then some of what we've all been seeing. But as we know, he just makes sure he stay on the field. And as we see him stand on the field, it's leads to production, and then obviously accolades as well. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the future for him, man. He's just a humble kid, doesn't say much, which I love. But when you step across some white lines, Sting's definitely gonna bring it, and bring it to another aspect that needs to help give us a spark on defense.
I don't know what you said, but you got to unmute yourself.
Cody Stuts coming in here, and Derek Stingley, defensive player of the month, which I like because I like when Derek Stingley's pissed off. I like when that country mofo is pissed off.
Here's what I find really interesting. The black mark of his defensive player of the month is the Browns game. He was on Amari Cooper a couple times, and I felt like Amari Cooper had his number. He gave up a 9-yard touchdown to Amari Cooper. He gave up a 12-yard reception to Amari Cooper. And I understand he had an interception defending Amari Cooper, but that was Flacco had to throw the ball to the end zone. Like there was nothing else the Browns could do. They didn't have a kicker. They would have kicked the ball for a field goal if they had their kicker. And another play where he defended Amari Cooper, Flacco threw it away again because they had to throw to the end zone. So the one black mark to his defensive player of the month was the Browns game. So it's like, I'm sure he's thinking about that this week as he gets ready for it. It's like, yeah, the accolade's nice. I'm going to make sure that it's even better than what you saw that helps me get to that point where I won that award for that month.
Yeah. So what was your thoughts on the day that was for the Texans? And I was just talking about Derek Stingley in the award in Grenard. We knew yesterday he was going. But what were your thoughts on the day that was for the Texans, starting with the injury report and kind of transitioning into the news that Denzel Ward is not going to play?
I wouldn't call it.
Let me put it this way: Denzel Ward's hurt. Okay, not going to play might be a little bit.
Denzel Ward's not going to be 100% if he plays.
Yeah.
And So I wouldn't quite call it Christmas morning, but it was like opening up gifts as you watched everybody warm up. It's like, there's 51. Hey, there's 52. Oh my God, 85's back. Like everybody that was supposed to come back that could get ready and at least practice this one time, get the vision out there that there's a chance they can go, they went. Do I know if Noah Brown with a broken freaking back is going to go out there and play? No, I don't, but I know he practiced, and I know that he told somebody this week he's feeling good. And he's had time off, and if he couldn't go, I got to imagine they'd have thrown him on the IR. Like Will Anderson, I would think that the workout schedule was damn near the same as it was a week ago, so he's going to go. Grenard told you he's going. The defensive tackles, they miss practice and go all the time. So, like, as far as everybody that you could want to come back, I'll tell you what, some of the stuff Grenard was doing out there, I was like, is he even hurt still? Like, is he even still banged up? Could he practice yesterday? Like, I mean, it was as exciting of an injury report from a good news standpoint as you could get all season long, with the exception of the time that CJ Stroud was back.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt about that.
Can I tell you a little story from practice?
Of course.
There was a moment during stretching. You know, sometimes when they stretch, they throw the ball around, and it's sometimes for the wide receivers, they're like actually working on throwing the ball, but other position groups will throw the ball around sometimes. And I guess the ball kind of bounced around, hit the turf. I don't know which coach it was, but one of the coaches is not like angry, just like a kind of dial it in type thing. Stop effing around. And next thing you know, the last 3-4 stretches, it was military. It was, I mean, they were dialed in, like from a screwing around with the football in the middle of stretches to, I mean, military academy, boom, 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 broke out in their position groups, boom, boom, boom. You know, first little individual, boom, boom, boom. Like, I mean, it was just a little dial in real quick, which was really nice to see.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the intensity level and just what exactly this squad looks like. I also want to see if there is like some juggling required of Grenard and Will Anderson and what that looks like. Like if one of them is more capable of going than the other, just kind of how they divide those snaps out.
I got to imagine that Anderson's good for about 20, 25. If the adrenaline's flowing and he's good, he may tell you there's more out there, because can't hold anything back. You go home, you lose. From a Grenard standpoint, I wouldn't tell you full workload, but here's something you got to factor in too. Jerry Hughes is not playing, and he's the first backup that goes in for either of those guys sometimes. So now everybody moves up. So Barnett, Majai Sanders, like, do you want those guys out there, or do you want maybe a compromised Grenard, compromised Anderson out there? Like, when they get out there, when they test it, I got to imagine you walk up to both of them and you say, give me the percentage. And if it's anything above 70, I'd play them as much as their body can handle in that matchup.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like that seems like a kind of a difficult thing to do, though. Like that seems like it seems. I mean, it's good to have all hands on deck, but with like the limitations, it seems like a hard thing to do. Like college coaches don't have to deal with this, you know?
Well, yeah, because if a Will Anderson gets hurt, Saban has 2 5-stars behind him.
Yeah, and it's not like you really.
DeMeco's got Majai Sanders.
Yeah.
You know, so there's obviously a diminishing returns, because if they're not good, as they usually are, is it worth putting them out there versus 100% guy that maybe could make a play? And then it's obviously the risk of re-injury. But the Browns, if they're weak at all on that offensive line, it's at the tackle spot, because they're banged up. So, those guys, Sanders had some nice plays in the run game when they did have nice plays in the run game last week. And then Barnett, he's been, kind of up and down and frequent.
Solid, man.
But, he's given you a lot more than you would expect.
He's been up and down.
I don't think he played very well last week, but I think 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, he played really well.
I mean, like, for what you expect from him, though, he's given you way more. Like, especially against Tennessee, especially against Cleveland last time.
As far as a mid-season waiver pickup, when another team just kind of jettisoned him, that's a really nice selection, a really nice grab, and a really nice.
They know him. They know him too, so they kind of already liked him to begin with.
Yep.
Yeah, I like him, man. He seems nasty. We talked to Sheldon Rankins today. Man, that dude's about that business, man. That dude's serious. I when I was setting up the interview, dude told me, because you know how we like to F around with our interviews. We try not to be podium like, like we try to, because you're gonna hear him at the podium and then all that. So we just kind of F around a little bit on top of some football stuff. But it was, hey, he's a serious dude. He's just all about that business. And I was like, okay. I mean, he is, but it's some good ass insight, man. That dude will give you like a 2-minute answer and stuff. And I asked him where it came from, and he just kind of went in depth about it. But that dude had fools wanting to run through a wall after he spoke.
He's my favorite defender to go ask, like, hey, I don't know football as well as you do. Can you break this down for me? And I try not to abuse that opportunity when it's in the locker room, because he's been banged up all season. He's going in and out of the hot tub, cold tub, whatever it is, going and getting treatment. So, when I have a good question, and he's always ready to give you the time of day, on the record, off the record, explain things. And he's the right kind of mercenary. You've had mercenaries come through here before trying to rebuild their value and maybe not having a ton of talent behind it. This guy's value stayed high, and he's paid off every dollar you've invested. And, oh, by the way, he's added to his eventual next contract as well with his
battle tested too.
Yep. He's been around
in New Orleans with Cam Jordan and Drew Brees. He was talking about that experience, was kind of thriving and then tore the Achilles. So he's been through quite a lot. So there is that. Few comments here. Someone says Stutes is the GOAT, please. Cody says we think Jonathan Grenard a full go ? Full go. I mean, that's a lot to ask.
Neither guy will have their normal workload. Anderson closer to what he's been doing, and then Grenard, I don't think it'll be as limited as Anderson, but it's not, Jonathan Grenard that you can put out there for all 3 downs.
The flash stage. Do you think Denzel Ward will end up playing this Saturday?
Stefanski doesn't strike me as like a subterfuge guy where he would just throw it out there to kind of change or disappoint people.
Here would throw it out there to warn you.
to warn his people,
just let you know, man, the guy's hurt. But there have been times this year, by the way, though, and I remember Lima and Daryl Ryder, who covers them for 92.3 The Fan, they got in an argument because he said he saw Denzel Ward like walking or something, and they got in like a hilarious argument about Denzel Ward.
Oh, that he had like a gait that made him look injured or something?
Something.
The way he walked made it appear that he was injured, even though he wasn't injured.
Yeah,
guys missed some time, but at the same time, there've also been a couple of games where he has played and wide receivers have gone off. I mean, Puka Nacua got him for a bunch. Josh Downs got him a couple of times. Amon-Ra St. Brown gets everybody, so that's not super impressive.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of these? And I try not to get too buried into the nerdy stats, but have you seen some of these nerdy stats about basically the style of offense that the Texans have excelled in, where they win deep over the middle, is the best thing that the Browns, like the Texans, have exceeded every team in the NFL at winning deep over the middle, and the Browns defend deep over the middle better than anybody else. And then the other aspect is the coverages that Schwartz likes to run. Nico Collins is one of the elite producers against that coverage, and now there's at best a hobbled Denzel Ward defending Nico. Maybe there's some room for Nico to. It ain't gonna be Indianapolis, but 75 and a touch, you could live with that from Nico.
I saw the stat that Trotter put out of ESPN that CJ was number 1 against zone. I think he had the number 1 QBR against zone this year, but he was like 27th against man. And I think the Browns run the 3rd most man. I think it said like 39%. So that was kind of the stat I saw.
I
I
mean,
don't know what to make of that.
they can run man because their defensive line gets after people. Jim Schwartz has done that for years in the National Football League. He's just had an awesome defensive line. He unleashes those guys, and then everybody can be. This is something to watch for. Okay, these are two coinciding things for this game. Remember the ticky-tacky BS pass interference and illegal use of the hands from the Jaguars game?
On
Tavier Thomas on third down that extended a drive, and on the end zone that extended
drives.
drives.
That was actually on Steven Nelson if you watch it though. They called it on Tavier, but Steven Nelson was tackling the guy.
There were plays from that game that DeMeco Ryan submitted to the league. It's that officiating crew for this game. The second element, the Browns are really handsy with their defensive backs. So they try to desensitize the officials to how grabby and handsy they are. So those two things don't really work well if it's a ticky-tacky officiating crew and a handsy defensive back crew. Like, those things don't work together. So I'll be interested to see if there's some laundry that hits the field on Saturday that maybe when we see the replay, it's like, ooh, that didn't feel like that was a penalty.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Going officiating crew. I respect that. Did DeMeco Ryans have a voice? I was talking about this. I guess they're not sending DeMeco Ryans to the podium even during the playoffs. I guess y'all talk to him, but it's not whatever. Oh, that's cool. So does he have a voice or what? Are you allowed to say that? I was told he had a voice. Does he have a voice or not? Does it sound better?
It sounded better than 2 days ago at the podium.
Okay.
It was somewhere between Monday and Tuesday's voice.
Okay. Next question. And we'll get into the Bobby Slowick thing in a minute. Hear what Cal and Hannah McNair had to say today on the show. Is Amari Cooper really that much of a threat? And I say this because I'm kind of following the money. 265 yards. That's just ridiculous. And I know Amari Cooper has a few games where he has this type of production, but I'm looking at the Las Vegas over-under for Amari Cooper yards. And I'll be honest, I would probably take the over if I had to make the bet, but it's 73.5. Like it's 73.5 yards. And I just wonder that if maybe myself, maybe other people are reacting to what happened a few weeks ago, which was kind of, I don't want to call it fluky because he was making plays, but you almost get a feel, and I'm not separating myself from anyone. But you almost get a feel that he's being looked at like he's freaking Jamar Chase or Jefferson or something like that, just because of what he did against the Texans, which Las Vegas has the over-under, and it's even. It's minus 115. It's not even like leaning one side. It's a solid bet, like a normal-ass bet at 73.5 yards. I still fear him and Njoku, but I think there might be a slight over-fear of Amari Cooper because of what he did a few weeks ago.
There's a couple of things about this Amari Cooper matchup that lends itself to the Texans winning versus Cooper. To me, the biggest one is he hasn't played football since he played that game. And I understand that it was a rest week last week for the Browns, but now he's going on 3 weeks that he hasn't played football. And inevitably, there's got to be some rust that you need to knock off. The other element of that is, say what you want, the heel still shows up on the injury report. I know that it was heel rest on the injury report.
Oh, he'll get hurt.
But the heel still shows up on the injury report.
He'll limp off the field.
Your heel's not a tendon. Your heel's not that's something to do with the bone of your foot. And so that's something that's a pain tolerance thing. That's something that could get further damaged within the game. So is he going to play the whole thing? And one of the biggest knocks with Amari Cooper is he doesn't always produce consistently. Like, there are so many times where you watch him have a big week, and then it's like 13 yards the next week and 68 yards the following week. And then it's like, boom, 120. And you're like, the consistency is not always there with Amari Cooper. Now he's not played for 3 weeks, and he's dealing with an injury that was, bad enough that he wasn't even a question of him playing on Thursday night. Like, he was a no-go on that Thursday night game that they had to play right after the Texans. And I just feel like there's going to be some pretty significant rust that he's got to knock off. Plus, I would hope that Kadar Holman and D'Angelo Ross don't end up defending him like they did for 2 of the first 3 receptions that he had in the last game.
Yeah, Steven Nelson left the game. Will Anderson didn't play. Blake Cashman didn't play.
Jimmy Ward left the game.
He's not going to be out there. I think Grenard got banged up. Like, it was just kind of a perfect storm for them. I just see 73.5 and I say, okay. Maybe I'm kind of guilty of following the money. Speaking of, the Texans could avoid the Baltimore Ravens. All they need to happen in order to avoid the Baltimore Ravens, assuming that they win, and it's not an assumption, but if they win, if the Miami Dolphins win, the Texans avoid the Baltimore Ravens. Now, they could be going to Buffalo, or they could be hosting Miami if Pittsburgh was able to upset Buffalo. For the Texans to host a playoff game, them, Miami, and Pittsburgh would all have to win. For them to avoid Baltimore, they would have to win, and Miami would have to win. Cold weather game, -2. Miami's getting their running backs back. They're getting their weapons back. I'm starting to kind of feel the Miami Dolphins a little bit here, which is why I am going with the best path parlay, a.k.a. avoiding the Ravens in the divisional. Texans and Dolphins money line. If I lose, I lose, whatever. Just a little Viber. $30 to win 160. Money line the Texans, money line the Dolphins. Put down $30 to win 160.
I like it. It's a worthwhile wager, and if you're a winner or a loser by the end of Saturday night.
Yep. And I'm actually
it's also worth noting that if the Steelers win, you still avoid the Ravens as well.
If either Miami or Pittsburgh win, you avoid it.
Yeah.
For sure. Pittsburgh is the I guess I'm just kind of looking at it as a extreme long shot. But it's the lower seed, so it's not like a set bracket. I know there's like the visual of it, but it's the lower seed. So we'll see how that goes. Bobby Slowick, breaking news. Bobby Slowick is pretty popular. Washington and Carolina already wanted to talk to him. Now we got Atlanta and the stanky one. She wants to talk to him as well. The Tennessee Titans want to talk to Bobby Slowick. He's got some history with that general manager. Bobby Slowick, very popular.
Is this the most popular Bobby Slowick's ever been in his life?
I don't know. Probably.
Like he doesn't really strike me as a guy that like he's walking down the hallways in high school or college.
Yeah, he's not like Zach Morris or anything.
And the girls are like, "Whoa, look at that Bobby Slowick."
Yeah, he's not Will Smith at Bel Air or Zach Morris, AC Slater at Bayside. I would probably agree with you on that.
Is this it? Are these the only teams that are going to ask for him?
No, I actually think he's going to get a gig. I think.
Really?
I do.
I think he's going to turn down the gigs.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like there's a crap ton of them, and they're not the worst jobs, but who knows? We actually asked Cal McNair and Hannah McNair. They pulled up on us in the studios. We actually, John Lopez, my co-host, my brother from another mother, older brother, he asked him about this, and we got into a little bit of a discussion about Bobby Slowick and the popularity and all that type of stuff. It's Cal and Hannah in studio in the Loop Sports Radio 610 10-2.
But a celebratory tour in Tennessee. So I got a question for you, Hannah. What's your favorite kind of broom? A push broom, a whisk broom, or a Swiffer?
Case Keenum.
Oh yeah, hometown hero. It's hard for you not to say things sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gotta be.
This is why I'm not on social media.
I'm worried though because you're obviously aware of social media. I told Lopez, I was like, I'm worried about Hannah. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, I'll tell her when she gets here. I'm worried about you becoming the target of every time the Texans lose. Like you're the person that they're like saying, you know, we're sticking it to Hannah. We're sticking it to Hannah because you get so pumped up. You ready for that smoke?
It's okay. It's okay. I'll take the blame. Just let the guys work. Let them do their thing. I'll take the heat.
No. I get to take the heat.
Nope.
She doesn't do anything wrong.
Oh, she wants to smoke.
No,
She wants to smoke. She wants to smoke, though.
Cal
You got
does take the most heat. There's no question about that.
Yes.
Let's keep it that way.
All right, let me ask you this now. A little football related stuff that isn't always the most pleasant conversation, but I call it the winning tax. Like when you win, your coaches start getting recruited.
Yeah.
Maybe even a report is out there about your general manager. Like,
Which is false.
we understand that.
Categorically.
Lopez is going Mike Florio.
No. We understand that it's false. He said as much. But to me, that's a good thing.
Yeah, Amy Adams. I feel like she's going to hire slow.
Let them worry about that. We'll enjoy our success and the things that come with it. You know, we also
That's what I'm talking. Like, what's your
lower draft pick?
Right.
Lower
draft pick, coaches being recruited,
etc. We have coaches all across the league that have been started here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really fun to watch them succeed in other places. Is really a good thing for us.
It's a good sign, for sure. It's a good problem to have. Hannah, do you?
And they blurred out my Amy Adams stank with the McNair. It's pretty messed up right there. But yeah, I mean, it is a good problem to have. You can overcome it if you're Kyle Shanahan. If you're Nick Sirianni, you might struggle a little bit. But it's going to be the norm, especially if you're putting together a good squad. You're putting together something special. That's going to happen for sure.
You know who I believe would replace him?
Gerard Johnson?
Mm-mm.
Who?
Clint Kubiak.
Yeah, I think Clint ends up here eventually, but I think Gerard would be the OC. Although there's going to be some guys who might like Gerard. Like if Brian Johnson leaves Philly, I know Sirianni and Gerard work together in Indy, like closely. So there could be that. He also knows Jalen Hurts. Aaron Glenn, if Aaron Glenn gets a job, I would look out for that. But I think he'll probably be selective. But I think they would just elevate Gerard. I do think Kubiak ends up here eventually.
Yeah, he's I think he's is he the passing game coordinator in San Francisco? I think that's his title.
Yeah,
officially. Clint Kubiak.
Remember when McLean said he was coming here and then it was like a big drama thing? I forgot who said it. Actually there is. Yeah. Someone told McLean and McLean trusted him. And then, I mean, they made it seem like it was like a foregone conclusion. And then McLean said it. And then he just was like, oh, I'm an idiot. You know how when McLean will tweet, I'm an idiot.
What, the person that told McLean put too much sauce on it?
Maybe.
I mean, there's going to be, I want Bobby Slowick here another year because I feel like the growth that he potentially could experience, as well as continuity being a key aspect to hopefully continuing that success. It will be interesting to watch
they took out my Amy Adams snake, man. Took out my Deshaun Tal joke too. Not on the original though, but yeah.
It will be interesting to see the, hey, can I finish my point? Damn it.
Go ahead, man. You're supposed to talk over it. Like if you're a radio pro, you talk over the drop, brother.
That's weird. This is YouTube.
Fine. It's theater of mind. Yeah, hack.
Promote Gerard, or Gerard's not ready. Hire Cliff Kingsbury, because there was a lot of people
out of here with that.
A lot of people that wanted Cliff Kingsbury.
Get out of here with that.
You don't want Coach Cool every Thursday?
Get the hell out of here with that.
Coach Cool every Thursday.
You don't even run this offense. They'll be fine. They'll be fine either way. It's a good thing to have.
There's a lot of people that run a version of this offense or are a part of this offense in another place that would be falling over themselves to be able to come in and put their own spin on it and then maybe go be a head coach just like Bobby Slowick if he leaves. I don't believe Slowick's leaving. I think he's going to take a page right out of DeMeco Ryans' playbook. He's going to go on some interviews, and then he's going to say thanks, no thanks, before they tell him he's not hired, and then he's going to be the candidate the following year, just like DeMeco was.
All right. Whatever. I don't think he's going to turn down anything. Here's T. If Denzel Ward can't play, I'm 10 times more confident. Yeah, I mean, my confidence would increase if Denzel didn't play. Gray Lion, our D line produced no pressure, allowing all the time in the world for him to get open. It'll be different this time. Okay.
I mean, they had the two defensive linemen had Flacco in their grasp at one point, and he threw a dart to the sideline, and Amari Cooper tapped his toes and caught it. So, like, I mean, I don't want to act like it was zero pressure. It's got to be more than it was last time, but Flacco made some damn plays in that game.
Yeah, I mean that right off the top, right off the jump.
That was so disappointing.
Petrie, and that was Steven Nelson like waiting kind of for him, and then I think that probably contributed to the benching for sure. And Steven Nelson was, I mean, he was. I was surprised he came back on the field in that game because he was hurt, man.
It was Jimmy Ward and Steven Nelson on the first play.
Yeah,
Jimmy Ward.
No,
I don't know. I know you hate when people say this, but I subjected myself to going back and looking at all 17 Amari Cooper targets over the course of the game just to see who was defending him, how did it go, and
man, there was a couple times where there was good coverage and they just didn't even go for the ball. That fourth down on the sideline at the end where Flacco was throwing to his left, I think it was their final touchdown. So I'm talking about Carson on him.
Yes, and then the
what was he doing? He was right there, and he just didn't even turn around.
The 2-point conversion, they didn't even. It's like Adrian Amos and Denzel Perryman didn't know they were supposed to defend Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got Steven Nelson a couple times. Hurt Steven Nelson a couple times in that game. I tell you, who had some pretty good reps against him is Desmond King, when they kind of either passed it off to Desmond King or Cooper started in the slot. And, Desmond King's got to bounce back from last week. He did not play well last week. So that'll be a matchup in case 25 gets a chance at him.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself for bringing up Cliff Kingsbury, by the way. I let that slide a little bit too much. Slime ball.
You're supposed to just talk over it, Landry.
Yeah, I was trying. Mr. Farrow asks, can you speak on the McNair drama? Look, I don't know like what is there about that? Like anyone who acts like they have any understanding of that is just being a weirdo, or just faking like they know what's going on there. I don't understand it. Like it seems like typical family drama. And it seems to just, I don't know anything about it, honestly. I have no clue. It's really none of my business. I don't even know, like, if something happens that impacts the Texans, we'll get into it. But when you're talking about a lady in her 80s or whatever, and there's drama with, I don't know anything about it. So I guess that's a long way of saying no. I have no idea. I don't know what it means. I don't know what the impact is. I have no clue.
I wouldn't be worried about it.
Well, I mean, it's not.
I'm not saying you are.
Pretty whacked that Florio is playing that too.
Well, he loves a soap opera.
Did you see what he said about the Aaron Rodgers thing, by the way?
Oh, I can't even imagine.
His lead, like on the Aaron Rodgers thing, going back to like Rodgers' rant the other day, was, I can't believe we're readdressing this, and it was really never worth addressing in the first place. Brother, you did like 600 posts on it before. But who cares? But yeah, I think the Texans are in good hands. Got a good game ahead of us for sure on Saturday with the Browns. Brian Cushing, man, he's going to get him fired up.
If he's not bleeding when he walks out there, what are we even doing?
You think they're going to give him some fake blood?
That'd be sweet. Tell me that place wouldn't be totally bananas if Cushing walked out because he just pulled a Goldberg and like smashed his head into the door when he was on his way out.
I don't think there's too many people who outside of like the obvious, like the Dreys and the Watts, that just get people fired the F up like Brian Cushing.
I feel like he has for who he was to this franchise. Like, I don't know that there's like, obviously when it's JJ, it's Andre, it's the Hall of Famer aspect of it. like but like as far as just like energy, like go to war, like if we were all, if there was no electricity and we were all cave people, like that guy is scary, and he's still scary.
No, he's freaking jacked, dude. And he's got those eyes, like he's like so intense. You mentioned the Goldberg intro. CJ kind of has it with the Sharpie thing, like where he comes down and he's like writing all that crap on his wrist. And he's writing like everything. CJ kind of has a little bit like a Goldberg entrance type of thing where he's like coming out of the door and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, they never needed Boombox Guy. He'd have been in the way.
What happened with that guy, Nick Cray?
I heard he went cray.
Okay. Like cray or just cray?
I heard he went cray at the wrong time. At the wrong place, around the wrong people.
Okay. The Boombox 49ers. I'm glad we don't got that. That's
the Boombox guy they got now in San Francisco. I feel like he's almost better because he's not a part of this. Like he hadn't turned himself into a story.
Yeah, he's just kind of chilling. Just bring it down. In San Francisco, just sitting there resting.
Man,
I'm all about it, man. I'm pumped for the playoffs. I'm excited that it's here. I'm excited for the sellout. I'm excited to watch this squad. I'm excited that the squad's getting healthy. So there's not as many excuses. It's just overall good vibes. Feel stable. Fun squad to cover. It's always fun to cover the Texans.
And the big thing too about this matchup, and you talked about it, like there's so few excuses for, hey, go out there. You're going to have most of your guys go play. This is just like the start. And so they've put together something that's like this game. I felt like they were going to play this game in 2026. And here we are in 2024 playing this game. And it's like, this is just the start of what they can do. Everybody's still figuring out exactly, like DeMeco still figured out how to be a head coach. Slowick still figured out how to be an OC. Like everybody's still figuring out how to execute this defense, get better. Like this is just the start. And it's like, if the start's this good and could get even better with the correct result on Saturday, I mean, it's just a really exciting and fun time. You talk about the next 5 years, like good vibes feeling, the Texans would be as high on the list as just about anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the conversation the other day, and I don't even think this is like a hot take, but they were having the conversation. I think Pardon My Take was having it, and I think it kind of bled into McAfee. How many quarterbacks would you take over CJ Stroud? And their answer was like 3. They said 3. For me, if you're factoring in contract, it's 0 at this point, and that can change. Like there could end up, but like if we're just factoring in contract, the answer is 0 right now. Now, if we're factoring in like performance, you can start talking about, one guy on Saturday. You can start talking Mahomes. You can start talking Lamar. You can start talking Josh Allen. But if we're factoring in like contract future, there's none at this point.
Yeah, I mean, even with the contract, I'd still take Mahomes because I think he's proven he's once in a lifetime type stuff. But
but when you're paying that kind of bread, as opposed to being able to build on a rookie deal, and you think the arrow's kind of pointing up, it kind of changes a little bit. Right?
I'd figure out a way. I mean, he's the 8th highest paid quarterback in football right now.
Yeah, he's kind of doing a little TB12 type of joint. So no practice tomorrow. You get to rest a little bit. What do you got coming up on Houston football, all that?
We'll do a little bit of Texans offense versus some of the elite defenses that they have played when CJ Stroud has played. So we're going to do that on Houston football as well as the YouTube channel, a couple of different ways. Bring that. So with topics I think you get a different experience on the stuff that you read versus, if the topic overlaps versus the video, you just get a different experience. So you're like, oh, Cody, you wrote about that already. Yeah, but it's different in video. Oh, you did a video on that already. Yeah, but it's different when I write. I feel like I've been I'd put 2 of my columns this week up against anybody in the city this week.
Well, I think that's the case every week. It's the best. I mean, it's the best resource. It's very well worth the subscription. Not just saying that. In a world where the Chronicle is the Athletic is not even
non-existent.
Here. Yeah, it's there. For sure. It's above it. Appreciate you, Stutes. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday at the ball game. Look forward to following your content. Manana. It's gonna be a fun day. I'm going inside the numbers tomorrow. I got some freaking numbers, man. I'm gonna do a numbers video, and then we might do a little live stream. That the numbers video, the numbers, man. These numbers will blow your mind. They'll get you ready for this game on Saturday.
The numbers. Can you give me a little? Can you give me the number with no context as kind of like a teaser so I can think about it
16.
for 24 hours?
16.
I got no idea, but now I gotta know.
16.
I got no idea, but now I gotta know.
16, 2, 15, 25, 2, 11, 73.9, 265, 73.5, and 3. They all mean something.
Damn.
Different reasons.
I don't think I can play all those on a Powerball, but I may try it tomorrow night.
Yeah. Try it, man. All right, man. I appreciate you.
Anytime.
All right. My guy, Cody Stuts, here in the locker room. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Be sure when you exit out to like the video. I'm told that that's a good thing. Be sure to listen to In the Loop tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central. You can watch that right here on YouTube as well. Sheldon Rankins, Cal and McNair, Hannah McNair coming through this week. Appreciate everyone for rolling through. This has been the locker room. Remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, man, we're 2 sleeps away from the playoffs. We are all in it together. What a time to be alive.
You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time. Can't stop. Won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not 2. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number 1. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.